Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode, another Wednesday night of the Bo and Joe Show. I'm here with two gentlemen I am certainly thankful for. Actually, three gentlemen. I'm going to ask Chris, come on screen we're going to toast. You have your adult beverage, and we want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and we want Chris to be part of that celebration. He's as much a part of the show as we all are, so it's a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We'll start out like that.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Cheers. Ooh, my drink is pretty strong. So thanks, Chris. Thanks for everything you do. We're certainly grateful for you.
You're welcome.
We can't do without Chris. And of course I have my other two favorite gentlemen, my Wednesday night crew, Bo, Dean, and Adrian. Welcome to Thanksgiving Eve, our big celebration, our party. What's happening? What are you thankful for? I'm certainly thankful for this hat. It certainly does wonders for I think I gotta pull these feet back, but what are you guys thinking? How's the night going?
Yeah, you're gonna have to pin your ears back, right?
I think so. Yeah, I don't like the ears.
We can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So I'm throwing it to you, Bodine. How's the week?
The week is good. It's cold. I'm not a happy camper when it's cold, and but it's part of life. I can't wait to get back to Florida and enjoy the sun and swing my golf clubs. So, but no, it's good. Happy Thanksgiving. It's should be a good show tonight. Let's make it fun. What about you, Adrian? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody out there. Got first quarter of my cooking done. So I'm ready for the morning. Yeah.
Great.
Absolutely. Thankful for everything I can be thankful for. Thankful for my grandkids. Thankful that my elders taught me how to get down in the kitchen like I do.
Matter of fact,
every Thanksgiving and Christmas.
I saw you post your mac and cheese on Facebook.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's not the first thing. I post my world famous chili every time I make it. My world famous ribs every time I get on the grill. Yeah, man. If you got to do it, you got to do it yourself.
You see my homage. Look at my hat. What do I got there? Bacardi.
Yeah, Bacardi. Bacardi Lyman.
There you go. I'm gonna switch it up a couple more times, but it's my way of breaking in tonight.
All right, love it. Love it. And I decided I am only going to talk about uplifting stories tonight. I already spilled some of my drink over here, so I'm already in a deficit.
Well, Joe, I saw you started early. I was like, okay, I wonder if we're going to have to carry her tonight.
I did start early, and my drink is actually, I switched it up for this one. It's a little bit, I laid back in between shows, but it's funny, on the earlier show we were talking about my mac and cheese, so and Adam's weighing in. Some people say mac and cheese doesn't belong at Thanksgiving, but I disagree. I feel like it belongs. I think mac and cheese belongs everywhere. And then we have Brandon tuning in. Hi, Brandon. Welcome to the show. Brandon wanted to come in and say something. So, hey, Brandon.
What's up, big Brandon? We lost him.
We lost him, but he'll be back. He'll
be back.
He wants to surprise us and talk about something he's thankful for. So he'll be popping back in any minute.
Good deal.
So
Good deal.
I'll start it out. I don't know if you guys heard the story about the historic football team, the high school football team out in California, the what is it called? The California School for the Deaf. Did you hear about their varsity football team?
They're undefeated, right?
They had an undefeated season, which is the first time in their 68-year history. And they went out and they won the championship game on Friday night, and now they're headed to the state championships. They solely they solely communicate with their coach by the American Sign Language, and they're just an impressive group of young men and coaches. So I love that story. And I wanted to start with that. Now I'm going to throw it to Big B. Hey, Brandon, welcome to the show. We're talking about what we're thankful for.
Oh, sweet. So, for me, I'm just thankful for waking up every day, my family, my job, working here with Coast to Coast, stuff like that. Nothing too exciting in my life.
Good to see you, Big B.
Good to see you, Bo. Hey, I got a question for you, though, Bo. Heard you're a big fan of books, reading. I just bought this book. What?
Oh, a big fan of what? My book?
No, reading. I just want to show you something. So I actually got this Monday, started reading it. And I gotta say, the first part of it, you almost had me in tears because you were like living in my life. I know we're two different, it's a different story, but the journey for finishing high school and stuff and not knowing, wanting to play football but being baseball. But yeah, first part of the book I've read so far, excellent job. Like I said, it was like you're taking stuff from my personal life just in that part of the high school graduation and stuff. So
well, listen, you never know what you're going through in terms of if you're the only person dealing with it.
Yep.
But once you start sharing your story and communicating with people and having a conversation, that's when you find common ground, right?
Yeah.
When you're in the fight or you're in the hardship, you think you're the only one in the hardship, and then over time you find out there are more people that experience the same thing. So I appreciate the kind words. I've had a number of guys and some female athletes say the same thing to me, that that they went through some hardships and they had to fight their way through it. And unfortunately, those who fight their way through it come out for the better, and those who use excuses, regardless if they achieve their goal, you still have to fight, right? So
yeah, exactly. I transferred to where I actually graduated from my junior year, and I was with my aunt. She was taking me because I moved in with my grandma. And the principal sat there. He looks at my transcript. He goes, "Yeah, we're gonna probably have to bump him down to being a sophomore instead of a junior." And my aunt at the time, she goes, "Well, if you do that, you won't see him anymore because he will be dropping out because he's struggled." So then the principal's like, "Well, let's see what we could do here," So it kind of opened my eyes just in that little point. And I tell my aunt that all the time. If it wasn't for her saying that, yeah, I probably would have not seen the light myself and dropped out. So. But no, so far the book is good. I like it. I'm glad about it.
Absolutely, having someone there to fight for you and support you. That's where my godmother came into play because of her academic experience. She was the top of her class, graduating from Spelman, and she worked at back then it was called FCCJ, Florida Community College. So, and she worked in the development department, but with her high IQ and her experience, she was able to help me, my mom, my sister, with navigating the financial aid window. And so having her, Juanita, my godmother, there to help me out, along with my sister, who was 2 years older than me, and she was at Bethune-Cookman. So yeah, you can't do it alone. It's a team effort, right? Yep. It takes a village, whatever figure of speech you want to use, right? That's what it takes. So it takes a team. I appreciate you picking up the book. Hey, and let me know let me know if you have any questions as you go along reading. Just shoot me that question, and we'll correspond back and forth.
I will, but so far, A+ book.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And Brandon, now that you're on, why don't you? I don't know how Brandon was a very talented baseball player. He actually tried out for the Minnesota Twins, and I think that you and Adrian have a lot in common. So Brandon,
shoot the breeze sometime. But yeah, baseball, outside of probably wrestling, baseball is probably one of my first loves. And, so, well, yeah, it was an
Absolutely.
experience.
Look forward
and
to it.
Brandon actually hosts several baseball shows on the network as well. So we could hook you guys up later next year and maybe partner or collaborate on it on an
Yeah.
effort on an endeavor.
Yeah,
Have to
well,
get those
that's
times and check it out.
okay.
No doubt.
All right, so
Awesome.
you're welcome to stay on.
Okay,
Brandon.
yeah,
We're
no
gonna-
problem. I got nothing planned.
All right, perfect. All right, so let's take a shout out to some of the guys. What's up, guys? Isaiah's tuning in. Of course, we have Justin. This is very sweet. Adam is saying, "I'm thankful to have Joanne and Bo as part of this amazing network. We're certainly appreciative of
Oh,
that."
yes, we are.
As well, and we're very thankful. I mean, I thought about this last year. I've had some hits and I took some losses, but I think about this circle of company I have now. First of all, I was very hesitant actually to speak publicly. Here I am on every week. I'm wearing a turkey hat. Things have certainly changed throughout the course of the year. I certainly consider myself very fortunate to have met so many great friends, 3 of them right on the screen with me, Chris behind the scenes, we have Justin on the side, Isaiah, Adam. So, it's been a great year in many respects. COVID took some things from me, but it gave me so much more. So I'm certainly appreciative of that.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm thankful for a lot of things. Obviously, my family, my growing family, my 3 grandkids in the last year and a half. Coming on the show, definitely appreciate that. I told you that. I didn't say this before, but when you said to me you weren't ready to let me go, I was kind of happy. I was hoping you'd say that. So I'll put that out there right now. So I'm thankful to be here with you guys. I enjoy coming on every week, and gives me something to sharpen my mind and some camaraderie and everything else that kind of goes with that. Thankful for my job that I've been on for 20 years. My wife, been married to for 31 years. My kids, there's a lot to be thankful for. And it's, sometimes it's a shame that it takes one day to get you back to speaking about the things that you're thankful for, when it's something that we should do on a daily basis. And sometimes we take things for granted. So, it's great to have this little pause here every year to kind of just reflect and think about the things that really are important.
Totally agreed. And since we're shouting people out, Bo, I want to make sure you see Joseph Sanders is on. So
So you had your Papa Joe on your first show. Now I got my Papa Joe on this show. Isn't that funny?
There he goes. You got him on there, huh, Bo? Good stuff.
So I'm hoping the original Joe Tierney comes on again tonight. My father tuned in to my earlier show and wished us well. He asked on that show if we had any of the sports scores. So I told him to come back at 10 because we were talking about, cauliflower stuffing. So we weren't talking any
Cauliflower
sports earlier.
stuffing? Is that even allowed?
As we have Kathleen tuning in, thankful for Joe and the turkey on her head. She must have been pardoned. Thank you, Kathleen. I did. I was very good this year. Last year I might not have been pardoned, but this year I got a reprieve. And she's saying happy Thanksgiving, everyone. So thank you. So anybody out there, if you're, if you'd like to join us for a cocktail, we're having a cocktail, of course. If you're under 18 or you're
Don't tell us.
alcohol isn't your thing, you can certainly have a virgin cocktail and certainly join the new year. All right, so let's get to sports. What's my other story? Oh, I have the University of Michigan running back. Did you see that? Blake Corum used his NIL money, I'm not sure if we say it, name, image, and likeness money, to buy 100 turkeys for families in need in his community. I thought that was very inspiring. Nice. One of his teammates, and I believe it is, I want to read it right, Nikyle Hill Green, helped in the distribution of those turkeys. He said that he was really blessed with. He's always wanted to give back to his community, and he was very blessed in that ruling has been in his favor and has been very kind to him now that he's able to profit from his brand. And he wanted to share it. He said, we didn't come up in this community. The young gentleman said, we didn't come up. It took a community to bring us along and foster us, and we wanted to give back to them. So I love those two stories, and those are the two things I wanted to talk about tonight. And Joseph Sanders is saying happy Thanksgiving to all, and we appreciate that. So I'm going to pass it to you guys. I'll have a sip of my cocktail, and where do we want to go next?
Well, let me follow up on that story. I saw that story as well on ESPN or one of the sports networks. And it goes to show you over the years, we've been having this conversation about whether student athletes should get paid, right? And I'm sure everybody have heard, the two sides, right? Student athletes, Joe, you're one of them, right? Student athletes shouldn't get paid, right? And then the other side of it is student athletes should have the opportunity to get paid because they're making money for the university. Well, what was lost in that two-sided conversation is what's in the middle. And what's in the middle? That story about a kid using his name, image, and likeness money to give back. And there are going to be more stories just like that. And that was the part of the conversation that was missing in the debate on whether or not student athletes should get paid, right? Because you had two sides that was, double down on their position. But we forgot about those student athletes that are thinking about the greater good and what they can do with the few, because not every student athlete's going to make millions of dollars. We know that, right? But some will have the ability to earn some small revenue. And then what do they do with that revenue? That's on them. So some will use it for a positive reason. And that's the example. So if you're talking about 3.5 million student athletes average per year, right? And you take the top 10% are going to make the big bucks, and the bottom 20 to 30, 40% probably won't make anything. Well, what about that percentage that's in the middle who will make some dollars, right? Through sponsorships and what have you. They're going to use that money in a very positive way. And those are the human interest stories that will come out of that. So there you go, Joe. That's going to help you sway you a little bit, just a little bit, right? To change your mind.
I'm already weakening.
Well,
After that story.
Bo's right, because I didn't even think of that part. And I was on the fence myself, that, should they get paid? Shouldn't they get paid? I mean, the colleges are using them to make money, and, if more athletes are doing that, then more power to them. Then, let's throw the money at them. Let them, go out and buy turkeys, buy hams, find a community to support and rebuild. I'm all for that. So, and I hope that, this young gentleman and others, and even some of the guys in the pro department, start doing that more, so.
Well, I think it speaks to where the minds and the hearts of these athletes are. And it also speaks to where they come from.
Yep.
A lot of them come from a place where they didn't have a lot. So, where they got what they needed from, it impacts them. And, it also just brings up something else for me. You always seem to see the negative in the press about professional athletes. But I can tell you, and I can probably guarantee you that 90% or more of these professional athletes are doing the same thing. It's just not talked about. It's not sexy. It doesn't draw eyes and ears. So it's a great thing, because now it says, it just speaks to how that trickles down from the pro level into the collegiate level now that some of them are going to get paid, and it just shows the character that a lot of these guys truly have.
And that brings up a great point because, once I read that story and I've been thinking about it all week, I mean, there are a few stories I was going to talk about and I'm not going to, that really had such a negative spin. And I decided I didn't want to go there tonight, but I started to search, NFL players who do charitable work on the holidays, and I couldn't find anything. And I have to believe it's happening. And I almost appreciate it more because it's happening not for publicity, but for, but for the altruism of it. But I couldn't find any stories, and maybe at Christmas time it'll evolve, but for sure, these are, I think you're right. I can't believe that there isn't anybody out there in the NFL or the MLB who are making a contribution and giving back. And I'm sorry.
No.
Well,
They are.
Oh.
It's just they're covered on a local level, Joe. They're
Yeah.
not covered on a national level.
And I'm not.
tomorrow,
And I didn't mean it to come across. I didn't think the pros weren't doing it. I mean, because
right,
we know it does
right.
happen. I just wish it would come out more. Like
Right.
Adrian said, it's all the negativity that comes out. It's not anything positive unless it is the local media covering it, and stuff like
Right.
that. So,
Well, if you
Tomorrow-
watch the Cowboys-Chiefs game the other day, they had a spot on Travis Kelce and what
Mhm.
he's doing. And they talked about the fact that Travis Kelce is really specific when it comes to media and not wanting the media there showing the things that he's doing, because he does not want it to be about him. It's about the kids and who he's helping.
Yep.
So there are probably a lot of them out there that don't want that type of attention being shown, because they don't want the spotlight on them.
Because it
Yeah,
gets
so I
old, and some people think it's fake, right?
Yep.
They're just doing it for the camera. So now they're reversing, that platform. As long as it gets done, and the bottom line is there's a positive effect for the people in the community. That's what really counts. But tomorrow, we've got 3 games on tomorrow. There will be a human interest story based on one of those 3 games. So we'll see something tomorrow.
yeah.
And so Isaiah is saying Trey Lance was giving out turkeys to the needy in Santa Clara yesterday. Don't know if he was doing it because the Niners were a part of this or not, but I don't know if it matters. And I think too that, and I think you have a great point, Adrian. It's not sexy. I mean, and I don't know if you saw, and I don't really want to get into the details. We'll do it maybe next week, but there was a horrific domestic violence assault. An ex-NFL player I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was all over TikTok. And in some reasons because they were trying to find him, but in some reasons because it was so egregious, and they just want to sensationalize every tragedy. I mean, there are certainly members of the NFL who are guilty of domestic violence. We see it over and over again, but that's in any organization, in any community, in any profession. And I think we always look at the bad. And of course, we do want to bring a spotlight and bring justice to victims of domestic violence. Of course we do. But, I think the stories like Isaiah just said, why isn't that on TikTok? Why aren't we seeing, somebody giving out turkeys, or these young men and even these young men on the stories? I didn't find it on the national news. I found it on just the local Michigan news. So
Yeah.
It's why I don't even watch the news anymore. Everything's negative. So I don't even turn it on, because you put that in your mind, you start to get it in your heart. I don't even turn the news on anymore.
It's smart for sure.
I'm with them. I don't turn on the news either. So.
All right, so let's delve into some sports. Isaiah's given us a question. Since this weekend is rivalry week in college football, what are your thoughts on the favorite rivalry game? The Apple Cup, the Iron Bowl.
First of all, Isaiah, I'm with you, but Villanova, we had our rivalry game this past Saturday, and we kicked Delaware Blue Hens Gluteus Maximus, right? It was a great game. It went down to the wire, and we won the game. So Villanova and Ferris, you can pull up the basketball team, but in terms of the football team, we are ranked number 5 in the country. We have a bye week. Whoever wins between, and I never heard of this team before, Scared Heart versus
Sacred
Holy
Heart.
Cross. It's a Sacred Heart?
Yeah.
Versus Holy Cross, right? That is this Friday. So whoever wins that game, we play at Villanova. They're coming to Villanova the following Friday, December 3rd. So we're in the playoffs. We're looking good. We beat our rivalry team, and life is looking good. So Nova's off to a good start.
Well, there
recommend-
are some good games. So obviously, we start with Ohio State, Michigan
Yes.
on Saturday afternoon at 12 noon. With where the college football poll has gone after last week, Oregon getting beat by Utah,
They went to bed.
Ohio State trouncing Michigan State, and now we have a little change in the numbers. Alabama drops back to number 3, Ohio State's up to number 2, and now Cincinnati's in the 4 spot. We get second rank Ohio State at number 5 Michigan, which is a big game. And I think for the first time in a long time, Michigan actually have a chance. They're playing different football this year. Their defense is a lot more scheme oriented than it has been in the past. And we should have a good game as far as Ohio State, Michigan's concerned. Then you get Oklahoma State this weekend as well, I believe, don't we? Pretty sure we do, which is another big game.
I don't think it matters because whoever wins that Ohio State-Michigan game is in, and the loser is out. And
could this be the year Harbaugh finally gets over the hump? I mean, Ohio State's the only team he hasn't really beaten.
I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening.
Oh, I don't think
I don't think I think Ohio State's going to win. Cincinnati's going to stay at 4, and they're going to finally get into playoffs. And it'll be Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and Cincinnati.
Well, Ohio State has had trouble this year against teams that can bring pressure against that young quarterback. And Michigan this year has those 2 bookend defensive tackles, defensive ends that are really good. I forget their names off the top of my head, but they're really good. And if they can get pressure on Ohio State, it's going to be a good game. If they can't, then I would expect Ohio State to run them out the gym just like they do every other year. But I think it's going to be a better game this year than it has been.
Oh, I'm watching it. No doubt about that.
Yes, we have George weighing in on the college football scene. Happy Thanksgiving to you, George. The Buckeyes feast on the grilled Wolverine this weekend, and next weekend Georgia puts Bama out of their misery. And before we go any further, guys, I do want everybody to recognize that, Bo did change his hat. It was time for a wardrobe change, so please take note of that. And I might have to do that too. I didn't tell you I have a secondary hat. I have a secondary hat as well, so I can put on my secondary hat.
That is hilarious.
And we have Ishmael, and I don't know if we caught you last week, Ishmael. We knew you were here, and do you guys think Dan Mullen deserves to be fired by Florida? For me, I think he got a raw deal since he had lots of success his first 3 years, including winning the sectional East Division. Then just because of one bad year, he gets fired.
Yeah, I don't, Ishmael. I think that was a mistake by the Gators. But some teams, some programs, and we talked about this probably over the last couple weeks, and the pressure that you get from boosters. And I know, Bo, you and I talked on the phone the other day, and we were talking about the fans, the boosters, and everything going on. And we actually talked about Florida, and it turns out they did get rid of Dan Mullen. And I think that's a mistake. you know, when college athletics is about the head coach and it's about your ability to recruit. Dan Mullen is a very good head coach. And the other issue is you've got to give them a chance. Florida this year played Alabama to the end of the fourth quarter this year early. They fell apart after Georgia beat them down. And I think that was more about it was more about just being deflated, as a team and as a program than what they have or what their capabilities are. And I think it was a mistake.
It's all about confidence. If you don't have it and the other team does, you got problems.
So Ishmael is saying, I think Mullen goes to the NFL. He's a great schemer on offense, but doesn't like recruiting. I do have to put this comment up and and shout out my friend San. Nice hat change, Joe. Welcome to the program, San. Appreciate it. So,
Big B. That's my Irish twin.
Oh, okay.
and Justin is saying,
Big B. You'll read about that in the book as you continue reading.
Oh, okay. Can't wait.
and we have Imy tuning in. I don't know if it's Adam or Imy. Did you like the Jason Garrett firing? Dave Gettleman should go.
Well, I think Jason Garrett is really the scapegoat, and he's just the collateral damage. Because honestly, the Giants, they have a lot of injuries offensively, so they don't have a lot of weapons offensively. So to me, I think he was collateral damage. They felt like they had to get rid of somebody. I heard them talking about that a couple weeks ago. So I'm not surprised that they got rid of him, but I don't think it's Jason Garrett's fault.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They're where they are.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jason Garrett took the job hoping that he would get the head coaching job when they fired the head coach because of his experience.
Yep.
And when they didn't do it, and when when the front office didn't do it, he said, "Hey, fire me because I'm not sticking around here. Just get rid of me. Fire me." Instead of quitting.
I think he'll go somewhere else.
You know what I mean? He if he wants to continue coaching, he'll go somewhere else. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a mess over there, man. It's a mess in New Jersey.
Yeah, but I think Garrett is more of a coordinator guy. Just I'm a Cowboy fan, and just the time that he was with the Cowboys, he's one of those rah-rah guys as a head coach. Even when things are going wrong, every time things are going wrong, he's clapping them up, and I think he's more of a coordinator than a head coach.
You think he could be a head coach in college then? Maybe be the rah-rah guy?
That involves recruiting though. So I don't know, and I don't know how many NFL guys want to go backwards to college, because that's really what it is. There's some that do, but I don't think many of them want to.
Well, yeah, no, you don't want to drop down, but Garrett, I can see him maybe going somewhere if the perfect job opens up in college to be, like you said, the rah-rah guy. I agree with that. I mean, but the NFL right now, what do we got? The Raiders job open, so, he might not be looking at that. Who knows?
Brandon, I think you could be onto something, because if I'm not mistaken, you could look it up, Ferris. Jason Garrett played quarterback at Princeton, which is in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
So if he's back home and he's settled in, maybe he coaches at Princeton the rest of his career because he's home, right? He knows the area. He can scout and recruit the area. So that could be a possibility. That's not as much pressure coaching at Princeton than it is anywhere else, right?
Yeah. And I think too with recruiting, the big thing is who they know. You know, Garrett's got a lot of
Right.
connections in the NFL players, so you know you get a
Absolutely.
phone call
He can bring on
from
the right staff.
yeah. Well, not even that, but you're recruiting a kid, and Garrett's sitting there and goes, "Hey, I want you to talk to, you know, Michael Irvin
Absolutely.
or you know Cooper or somebody."
Yeah.
You're gonna sit and talk. I mean, so you know, you got that little
It's the
pull
same-
being an
it's-
NFL guy.
It's the same effect that Dion is having at Jackson State.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep.
And,
But
and
Dion
Eddie
doesn't have to
George
make
is
the
having
phone
down
call.
at Tennessee.
He has got the name himself. He could just come in and be like, "Hey, I want you to play." Most guys are going to jump at the chance to play for Dion. So
I got you. Agreed.
And he's making an impact. Adrian is saying, or George is saying, Adrian, they had a full healthy team versus the Bucks, and Jason blew it. He will go to the college level next, maybe Michigan, after khaki pants is gone.
Well, I don't really agree with that because even though Saquon Barkley may have been in the lineup, he is not fully healthy yet.
No.
6 rushes, 6 carries in the game, 25 yards. They ran the ball 6-3, 12, 13 times in the game. They have no running game right now. And, you know, like I said, even though Saquon's back, he's still not back yet. He's not Saquon Barkley yet.
well, even Jones is. I mean, is he really fully healthy? I mean, he's been battling injuries the last couple of years. So
Yeah.
I don't see him going to Michigan if that job opens up. I think I'm with Bull. If he goes back to college, it's going to be for his alma mater.
And the other thing is sometimes the game dictates how the game is called. So I know it was 10-10 early, but once the Bucks start to separate themselves from the Giants, then you know your play calling changes. You're kind of the play calling is dictated to you as to how you're going to call the game. So you know there are a lot of factors in there.
Isaiah is saying he's weighing in college football. He said that he heard Jack Del Rio is interested in USC. Speaking of NFL, the college football.
Well, that's where he went to school at.
That's where he went to school.
That's where
yeah.
he went to school. Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Right.
I mean, Del Rio, I don't think is coaching anywhere. I don't think, you know.
Isn't he a coordinator under somebody right now? I think
You know
he's on
what? He might
someone's
be.
roster.
I think he's in Vegas with the Raiders, right?
That
Oh,
may be
you
where
might be
he
right.
is.
If Bob,
But
that
I-
was his last job. You know, another
Right.
name that's kind of popped out that everybody keeps forgetting about is Singletary. You know, he did a good job with the Niners, I thought. I'm surprised he hasn't floated up, you know, in conversation somewhere.
Maybe he doesn't want to anymore. Who knows? You're right.
That is true. I mean, you know,
True. Oh yeah, Adam is saying he's a coordinator with the Raiders.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I saw something. Jerry Kill wants to, or I forgot the team that's looking at him, wants him to become back as their college coach. If Isaiah's on, he's the one that posted the story. He might know, but you know, for me, Kill was here in Minnesota, and he left due to health reasons. And said he didn't want to be a full-time coach anymore, but like a coordinator or an advisor or something, he'd take the job. But I don't know. I don't see Kill becoming a coach again. I don't know what you guys think.
I'm not.
No.
Who you talking about?
Jerry Kill, former coach for the Gophers back before.
Oh,
a few years
Minnesota
ago.
Gophers.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Gophers. Yeah, and
Yeah,
he
it's
left
been a
due to
while.
health reasons. And
Yeah.
from what my knowledge is that he doesn't want to coach full time anymore, but he would be like a advisor or something. So, yes, New
Isaiah.
Mexico. Thank you, Isaiah. Yeah.
New Mexico is interested.
Well,
That'll be interesting.
Urban Meyer left Florida for those reasons, and all of a sudden he
Yeah.
popped up in Ohio State. So
That
you
is
never
true.
know.
You are right. You are right. Oh, money talks, I guess.
So before we segue into the NFL, Justin has asked this question about 62 times over here on the side, and so we're going to talk about golf for a second. Let's. Wants to know what
Tiger
our thoughts
Woods?
on Tiger Woods being back.
Well, he's not back. He sent out
He's
that
not back,
video
is
of him. He sent a video out, posted a video on TikTok, if I'm not mistaken, of him at the driving range hitting some short irons, some wedge shots. So that's all. So once you do that, I mean, that's the biggest story of the day. So the question is, he's just probably testing it out to see what it feels like. He had a big sleeve that went from his ankle all the way up his leg, right leg, because that was the leg that was damaged the most. So I say the worst case scenario, he'll give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, he'll go right to the senior tour, and he'll still have those crowds at the senior tour, and he'll win a couple of matches on the senior tour. Because if he can't compete with the young kids, Tiger is 10 years younger. He's 10 years younger than me. So he's like 46 or 47.
Yeah.
He's 45.
He's 45.
Okay.
Well,
So
he'll be
Justin
40.
is-
He'll be
He'll
46,
be 46
in
in
December.
December. Yeah.
He and LeBron James share the same birthday, December 28th, 29th, something like that. So
Wow,
December
I
30.
didn't really know that.
yeah, so
Nice.
he's got 2 more years. 46, you said?
Yeah.
So he's got 4 years left before he goes on the senior tour.
And that might be the best for him, is just to kind of just fall out of the limelight for a while and then pop up on the senior tour, in 4 years, get fully healthy. I mean, granted, Tiger Woods could probably golf left-handed and still beat me. So,
So we have,
It's Tiger
we have a couple-
Woods. He's not going to the senior tour yet.
well, no. Oh, you got
No, he's
to
going
No,
to give it a
he's-
shot. He's going to give it a
yeah,
shot.
he's
I'm
gonna give it
saying
a
he's going to
shot,
give it a shot. He's going to give
And
it a
he's
shot.
not going
but
to go
if
to
it
the
doesn't
senior tour just because his birth date says so.
No. If he doesn't win a major in the next 4 years, he has no shot but to go to the senior tour, because the kids are only going to get better and younger. If he doesn't do it by 50, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
bigger story. The fact that he came back from another just tremendous injury. Just the fact that he's
Yeah.
on the driving range is
Oh,
to
yeah.
me, that's the bigger story. What an example
huge.
of his work ethic. He's had that work ethic since he was 4 or 5 years old. We have a couple. Yeah, it's just so impressive. I mean, he's been plagued with personal tragedy and physical tragedies and just all across the board. And some were, he bears and carries some of that responsibility for some of those things that have happened in his life. But he comes back every time, and he comes back with grace and diplomacy and there's really something to be said for that. We have some other guys joining in. I just want to shout them out quickly before we move on. We have Randy's tuning in. We haven't seen Randy in a while. Hey guys, hi Randy. Thanks for coming. And we have Tim. Tim is saying that I'm turkey drunk. I'm going to go back to my original hat, Tim, and then you'll get a kick out of that. And then and Adam is saying, remember the time Tiger won the Masters with a torn ACL? I mean, he's just physically, he's really an impressive specimen. And I don't know, this reminds me of a story that I was really surprised to hear this week. I heard an interview with Tom Brady, and this might be a great segue into the NFL. It was an interview with Tom Brady, and I don't know when it was, and I don't even know how I stumbled across it. I was listening to something on the radio when it came on. It was from when he was originally drafted. And have you ever heard the original draft report? It said, when whomever looks at him and writes it up, they said he's weak. He can't throw a football very well. He's scrawny. He's whatever it was. The whole thing was disparaging. And he said he thought to himself, who are these guys to be critiquing me? And look at how, and I think that's a great story for young people coming up. Here he was disparaged, really given really the way that it read. He didn't give him much of a chance, and they certainly didn't respect the abilities that he had. And he really turned himself around to be obviously a remarkable player. And if anybody had relied on that report and didn't give him a chance, what a disservice that would have been.
Well, listen, he didn't play much his time at Michigan because he didn't start our 4 years or even 3 years. He might have been a 2-year starter, and by his senior year, he was splitting time with another quarterback. His 40 time was like 5.5, right? So he was slow. He didn't lift a lot of weights. So if you look at his body now and you look at his body when he was a rookie, you would see the difference, clearly see the difference. So, but he was drafted because of his potential. He had to turn that potential into what it is today. And from my understanding, and I might have seen an interview after he won that Super Bowl, his first Super Bowl, he got an opportunity to play golf with Michael Jordan at that exclusive golf course somewhere in the Bahamas, Bermuda, in the island areas, where it's like literally exclusive for a few people. And he played with Michael, and he basically just was in Michael's ear saying, "How can I be great? How can I be great?" And Michael said, "This is what you need to do to be great." And he's literally followed every single word Michael Jordan told him.
Really?
So he's put in the work, and we know Michael put in the work. So
All right, so Bo, I know you have some connections. Can you give me Michael's phone number?
that connection I don't have, but I'll tell you a good story though. How about this? When I was working or babysitting, whatever you want to call it, for the Irving family, and I was at the Sixers game, and we were in Ferris. You remember the old Spectrum?
Yeah.
So it was in the basement where the locker rooms are. And so I was standing with the family at the Sixers, locker room door. And then the visitors' locker room door was further down the hall. And the youngest son took off running. So, I was young. I was an athlete. I took off running after the baby boy. And I was able to grab him. Beans was his nickname. And I was able to grab him, and he's having fun. You know how little kids are. And I was not paying attention to what I was doing. So all of a sudden, something happened where Beans spent me around, and I ended up coming off of out of my position of a defensive back, right, and turning the opposite way, and I literally bumped into Michael Jordan, shoulder to shoulder, and he grabbed my arm. When you're bumping into somebody, you grab their arm, they grab your arm, so you could kind of brace them. And I'm telling you, when that dude grabbed my arm and I grabbed his arm, I realized how strong he was, because he grabbed my arm as if he was palming a basketball. And I looked him in the eye, said, "Excuse me." He looked me in my eye and said, "Excuse me." And boom, he kept moving, and I kept moving. So that was my brush with Michael Jordan. And that was probably around 1986, 87.
That's a pretty impressive story for sure. We were impressed with Charles. We were impressed with Charles Barkley and Dr. J, but Michael Jordan, I have a new level of respect for you tonight, Bo.
It's just a little story I can tell some grandkids if I ever have any.
You don't need grandkids, you have me.
You got the whole world listening, Bo. Tell the stories.
There you go.
So it's 10:49 and we haven't even touched base on the NFL. One of the things we wanted to do tonight is to talk about our Thanksgiving traditions, and you gentlemen did in respect to watching football on Thanksgiving Day and what it meant to you. So I'm going to throw it to you. Let's segue into that. Bodine and Adrian, tell us your thoughts, and Big B. I think that's not something I typically have done. I'm usually behind the kitchen, but or doing something, having my cocktails. But Randy saying Bodine is the man. So let's talk about that. The holiday Thanksgiving football games. And Randy, I'm sure Dallas was. I do recall that for many, many years it was always Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, is that true? Is that still true?
Yep,
So-
up in Detroit.
Always Dallas and Detroit. For me, and I'll go back to high school, and we talked about it last week when we were talking about the young man from New Jersey who threw the 8 touchdown passes. So for us, Thanksgiving Day games were a tradition. Our rival, which was Highland Park, we played them every Thanksgiving Day. So when you played high school football, one of the biggest things was 11 a.m. kickoff every Thursday, every Thanksgiving morning, play a little football. Then you go home, spend it with the family, watch football on TV. And, that's how you spent your Thanksgiving Day. And for us as kids growing up through the Pop Warner system, going to games, watching some of the older kids that we grew up behind, and you looked forward to playing on Thanksgiving Day. They don't do it. There may be some teams that still do. I don't think they do anymore because of the high school playoffs kind of take that over these days. But that was a tradition and something that we did every year. And that was the most fun thing that you could do.
Love
Nice. Well, for me, it was, in the South, we didn't have those high school games on Thanksgiving. So for my family growing up, pretty large family. My mom was the oldest of all her siblings. Traditionally, we went to our grandmother's house. And, you're talking about, 4, 6, 8, 12. I mean, you're talking between 14 and 16 grandkids running around the house, right? And so watching football was always part of it. And whichever channel my grandmother had the TV on is what game you watched. And back then there was no cable. So it was either CBS, ABC, or NBC. Fox wasn't even in the picture. So it pretty much was CBS, Irv Cross, right? Brett Musburger, right? Remember that crew?
Phyllis George.
Jane
And
Kennedy.
It was,
yep. And it was the Cowboys versus whomever, right? So that's what I grew up on, watching the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day, every Thanksgiving at our grandmother's. And I am not and that's my Irish twin. She's backing me up. Listen, I am not a turkey person. I like Southern chitlins. I like, my stuffing, my it took me a while to get used to stuffing, but chitlins, mashed potatoes, gravy, collard greens. I got my boiled peanuts over on my stove for tomorrow. I got my collard greens and ham hocks all set up, cooked. I got my mac and cheese ready to go. I'll cook those in the morning because it's just me. So that was the experience I grew up with, watching the Dallas Cowboys. And then I had 2 uncles. My mom was the oldest of 6 girls and 2 brothers. So we would throw football. We would play football out in the street or out in the yard. And, and a lot of folks have those memories of playing sports on Thanksgiving, more than likely football, right? And that's what's great about sports. Sports is part of the family dynamic, right? And the experiences that we have. So, you guys had a chance to say what you're thankful for, and I wanted to purposely wait towards the end of our program. So I'm going to say I have a lot of things to be thankful for, and there's too many people to thank. But what's great about me writing a memoir, all those people are in the book. So all of you out there who want me to say your name, you should have bought my book and read your name in the book. Right? So, but there are a few people I have to thank. And obviously it's family. I have 4 sisters. You guys know my Irish twin. The other 3 drive me crazy. Actually, they drive me to drink, right? So shout out to all my sisters. But I want to shout out Queen Gotti, Rosa Gotti, one of my biggest supporters regarding this journey of being an author. So if she happens to be watching, she deserves a big hand. And I want to shout out X-Man, Xavier Hargrove, who's also in the book, one of my former teammates. He had a stroke. And why am I thankful and giving him a shout out? Listen, when folks have strokes, a lot of folks don't make it, right? So I am thankful he made it. He's got another teammate, one of our other teammates, Daryl Stewart, is down there helping the family out. His wife, Jocelyn. He's got 2 kids. X-Man has a daughter at Ohio State and a young daughter. And I'm thankful that a lot of my teammates have reached out to that family and sent out a lot of prayers and support to help our teammate out. Because, you know, when you have a major stroke, you got a long way. It's a long recovery, right? So we're going to try to be there for him. And I'm absolutely thankful for our man, Justin. Gotta love Justin. He is the man. He is our biggest fan. We love him to death. And Justin, if you're listening, no, you are the man. We appreciate everything that you do. And I want to send a shout out to the Coast to Coast crew, Jason and Adam, for having the wherewithal and the foresight to recognize that Joe, our superstar, is the superstar. And she is making all of this work. And she had the ability and the sense to notice that Adrian was a necessary addition to our crew. So everybody owes our Joanne, a superstar Joanne, a nice hand, because she makes this work, right? So we appreciate you, Joe.
Thank you
Happy
very much.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you. We're a community. We're a team. So nobody does anything alone, especially here on Coast to Coast. I came in late to the game. I'm thankful that the guys embraced me and welcomed me, and sometimes they listen to what I have to say. So thank everybody, and thank you, Adrian, for agreeing to be part of the team. And Brandon's a big part of the Coast to Coast team too. He's our head of HR. So he approves anybody we bring onto the network. So he has a big role here too. And
Awesome.
yeah, I love our team. We're not even dysfunctional. We're all tightly knit.
I think if we got together, we'd probably be dysfunctional. I mean, hearing some of the stories from the other guys, you know, so
it happens eventually, right, Brandon?
yeah.
and Randy,
listen,
I'll help me down. Thank you, Randy.
We're looking forward to a great year. Let's enjoy the holiday season. Again, everybody's got a lot to be thankful for. Say your prayers.
You can write them in. Oh wait, that's Hogan.
So let's make this enjoyable opportunity blow up, because I think we have a team that can do it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, because Sam's saying Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Happy Thanksgiving.
So,
That's my Irish twin.
So we're at the 11 o'clock mark. Should we just wrap it up or quickly talk about the NFL? What do you think? It's a big weekend for football. Should we jump in for a minute or just
go ahead, Adrian?
All right.
Go ahead, Adrian.
A lot of big games this week. There's no doubt about it.
I gotta fill my glass up again.
Okay. Well,
ahead.
it starts tomorrow. Raiders at the Cowboys. Cowboys coming off a tough loss to the Chiefs last week. Need to get back on the winning side. So, and the Raiders, you know what's funny? It seems there are teams coming back to the pack as the season goes on, and there's some teams that started off not so good, and they're coming up to the pack. So, the season's getting very interesting. So, start with the Raiders and the Cowboys tomorrow. What do you think, Bo?
I think, that's a close one. That's a tough one. I don't know who will win.
No, I think, all things being equal, it's in Dallas, as it always is. They're coming off a loss. The Raiders have to travel, not far, but they still have to travel. I see the Cowboys winning. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Cowboys. I mean, as much as I don't like them, but they're home on a short week. They don't have to travel, so yeah, I'll take the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'd agree on that. Yeah.
Randy
Then tomorrow night we have the Bulls at the Bulls. Got me thinking about Michael Jordan. The Bills at the Saints, And
Well, the Bulls might beat the Saints. I mean,
the Bills are one of those teams that have come back to the pack. The Patriots have suddenly taken the reins of the AFC East, which I don't think any of us are happy about seeing unless you're Justin. So Bills at Saints tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's a pick 'em for me. I have no idea. That's a pick 'em.
I would typically go with the home team, but the Bills are so up and down that I'm a
just don't
both. It's a pick 'em, but I'd go with the Saints just because they're at home.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Bills because the Saints are still playing with the backup.
Yep.
So the Bills should be able to take care of business
Oh, they should
tomorrow. But they've been up and down, so you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to Sunday. Big
Hold
game.
on. Did you purposely forget the Chicago and Detroit game?
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
I think Detroit might get that first victory. I think I don't believe Detroit's that bad of a team. Just bad luck. So I'm taking the Lions in this game.
I'm taking the Lions.
Okay.
I'm with you, Justin. I'm taking the Lions. It's
Well, yeah, we didn't really
Thanksgiving
talk
Day.
about it.
Everybody's going to be rooting for the Lions to get off the schneid. I'm going with the
Well,
Lions.
I think even some Bear fans are going to be rooting since the rumors are coming out that they're going to fire Nagy sometime between Thursday and Friday. So,
Yeah.
Well,
I'm with the
I
Lions.
mean,
I'm pulling for the Lions. That'll be a great
the
story.
Lions winning should seal that, right?
hopefully.
All right, so Bucks at the Colts. Bucks
that's the
got
big
their first win off of the 2-game losing streak, and the Colts seem to be riding that ship and moving in the right direction.
That game's in at the Colts, right?
It's in Indianapolis in the Dome. Yep.
Listen, Indiana's playing great. Their running back scored 5 touchdowns. He's leading the league now that Derrick Henry is hurt. But I just can't bet against Tom Brady. I can't do it.
That is a tough one there. Like Bo said, you can't bet against Tom Brady, but Tom Brady's one of those where it's hit or miss too. I mean, you got right with the hot hand. I think Colts might have the hot hand right now if they keep running the ball. So I think it is close. I think it is a close one. I'll take the Colts. So
The only problem is that I've seen Carson Wentz up close.
Oh yeah.
So
he's fragile.
Right? He played for the Eagles. So,
I'm curious
I'm
to see
taking
if
Tampa.
I'm curious to see if Gronk's return is going to make a big impact. He didn't make a big impact last week, but he's a full week in and 10 days of recovery. He could be, he's probably eager to play, and they do when they work well together. They work well together. So
that's Brady's comfort right there is having Gronk in that lineup.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right, let's go down to the next big game. Titans at the Patriots.
Ooh.
Big game.
Yeah,
Titans also cut ways with Peterson too. After a couple weeks.
They did. They got rid of Adrian Peterson today.
That's predicted. Justin is saying Mac Jones will win on Sunday.
Talk about a hot hand. You can't go against Mac Jones
listen,
right now.
when you lose to Houston the week before, that's a bad loss.
Yes.
And then you got to face Belichick's defense. I think I got to take the Patriots too.
Yep.
Yeah, I do, because other than the first game when Henry went out, the first game after Henry went out, the Titans came out and they put a lot of points on the board. Yep. But every game after that, since then, they've done nothing offensively. You know Belichick's going to scheme them as he usually does. I have to go with the Patriots at home on that game.
Yep.
So, Steelers at the Bengals.
Bengals.
Yeah.
I think
This
it's
is
time.
this is
I
Big
think-
Ben's last season, I believe.
I think it's
Now-
time for Big Ben to call it quits.
So Ben's been playing better, but the Steelers have been playing without. So who's they've been playing without
Juju
what's his
Smith.
name?
Oh, Juju Smith's been out too. Yeah.
The wide
Defensively.
receiver. Oh, J.J. Watt, brother.
JJ
yeah.
playing without. They've been
TJ
playing without T.J. Watt. He's back this week. They've been playing without safety from Alabama.
Yeah, you got me.
No, Tomlin's not on the hot seat.
It's coming off my tongue, but he's back this week. I'm going to take the Steelers. I think their defense is going to be back in full force this week, and I'm going to take Steelers in that game.
Well, if anything, it's a low-scoring game, but I bet you, I bet you some boiled peanuts. You're living in the peanut state. I'll bet you some boiled peanuts because Cincinnati their offense is good. We know how good they are, but their defense is a little better. And I just don't see Pittsburgh putting up enough points, even if their defense holds Cincinnati down a little bit. So I think that's a good game. I put it on Cincinnati. What do you think, Big B?
No, I got to go with Cincinnati. I mean, yeah, they're coming back healthy and they're Steelers defense, but Big Ben. I mean, he's another guy we've been talking about. What kind of game is he going to get? Is he going to get like an old Big Ben game or go get a recent one?
Right.
So I got to go with the Steelers. Or I'm sorry, Bengals.
Okay. All right. So behind that, we've got Chargers at the Broncos. Chargers have been coming back to the pack as well. They're now 6-4. Broncos 5-5, coming off a big win. And they're in Denver.
I got the Chargers.
God, I'm a Bridgewater fan. I just don't get his ups and downs right now, and I don't know. I think this one might be the Chargers game, though. I think they're coming around a little bit.
They need it.
Yeah.
I tell you what. I mean, they need it in order to keep pace with the Chiefs.
Oh yeah,
it's crunch time. It's crunch time for everybody. This is the last 6 or 7 games left of the season. It's crunch time.
That whole division right there with the Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers. I mean, everybody can't afford to lose a game. I mean,
it's crunch time.
I think the Raiders are falling off.
Yeah.
So this game obviously it's big for the Broncos too, but I think it's bigger for the Chargers because I think most people think the Chargers are the better team and the team that can compete with Kansas City.
Yeah.
How about this one? Rams at the Packers.
That's going to be a good game. If it's freezing, I got Green Bay. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say I have Green Bay. I think coming off that loss from Minnesota last week, I think they're going to want to win. That was a great game. That was my favorite one of the weekend to watch. And I think they're going to have some momentum
to watch here.
Yeah.
Well, if the Rams lose this game, this will be 2 in a row at a minimum, and probably 3 out of their last 4 if they lose this game. So going across the country to Green Bay.
It's all going to come down to the health of Rodgers. If his foot's okay and not bugging him. I gotta go with the Rodgers or the Rams because I think Stafford's still top up there in the MVP category, and the Rams got that solid defense. So the weather might play a factor, but I gotta go with the Rams.
And after a week off, right, and Von Miller getting a chance to really get used to that Rams defense.
Odell Beckham.
Don't forget Von Miller has been added to that defense. So. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams too. I think they need it. They've got to keep pace with the Cardinals.
I mean,
if something's seriously wrong with Aaron's foot, he can't run away from that blitz. So that's going to put him in an awkward situation. So if I had to pick, I pick the Rams because of that. But if it's freezing cold, I'm going with Green Bay because the Rams play indoors.
Yeah, that is true.
That's true.
But
That's
Stafford also played in Lambeau quite a bit, so being coming from the Lions, so
That's true.
Yep. Vikings, Niners.
who cares?
Yeah, I tried to do that with the Bears and the Lions.
No,
Browns at the Ravens. The Sunday night game.
Sunday night game. That's a good one.
And they're and the fans are really getting on Baker Mayfield. And it's a shame because he's broke. You know, shoulder, arm, leg. You know, he's out there gutting it out for them, and they're killing him in Cleveland.
Yeah, I got Baltimore. Even if their starting quarterback doesn't play, because their backup quarterback is a smaller version. So I got Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go with the Ravens too. I mean, if Lamar plays or not plays. I mean, I like Lamar Jackson. You know, he can run, he can kind of throw, but you know, they seem to be doing it right. So yeah, Ravens.
I agree. I'll go with the Ravens in that game. And then Monday night we have the 3-7 Seahawks at the 4-6 Washington football team.
When are they going to come up with a name?
I'm not wasting my time.
Supposedly next year they're supposed to have.
Okay.
Put it this way. Hey, have you guys watched Monday Night Football with Eli and Peyton versus
Nah,
Washington?
I can't do it.
I
can't do it.
Dude,
I'm
it's
typically working,
hilarious.
so I don't get to see it. So
It's hilarious. They are hilarious, dude.
I've heard, but I can't do it.
Hilarious. It is so funny. Absolutely funny. And then they have 4 guests. This past Monday, they had Condoleezza Rice, Kevin Hart, Julian Edelman, and who was the first person? I forget who the first person was. But it's just a great show. I absolutely enjoy it. I do not even turn over to the regular Monday Night Football game because I don't even do it anymore. I absolutely love the Peyton Manning and Eli show. Absolutely love it.
nice.
Well, the thing I'll take
are they not commentating on the game? They're just kind of doing interviews through it, or what do they do about?
No, they invite one guest per quarter, and it's usually at the halfway point of that quarter.
Okay.
And then they still watch the game, but they have questions. They go back and forth. Usually they maybe play golf together, or they know each other. They're a celebrity or an athlete or a politician or whatever. The Mannings are well known everywhere, right? So it's easy to get a guest on their program. But I just like the way that they talk about the game as it's being played, even with the guest or without the guest. And it's different than, go ahead.
Was the first person this week Bill Parcells?
Bill Parcells, that's who it was. Absolutely.
Oh, there's a name for the pass. Oh
yeah. So no, to me, it's I get bored listening to those 3 guys on the ESPN guys. I like these ESPN guys, Peyton and his brother. They do a great job. It's absolutely hilarious. And you're not missing the game.
Yeah.
Right? Kevin Hart was on there, Dad. That's right.
Kevin Hart's hilarious.
Randy saying, who are the Mannings?
He's also just kidding, though. But that's also a guy, too, Randy, on a trivia show we did, said that Jerry Rice was a 49er quarterback. So
He must have been drinking that night because I even know the answer to that one.
Well, he even said that he knows he's wrong, but the only guy that comes to mind was Jerry Rice. So
Well, the great story I'm going to pull from this Seahawks-Washington football team matchup goes back to this past weekend. And Bo, I talked to you about this a couple weekends ago, and we talked about Taylor Heineke. the Washington
yeah.
football team quarterback.
Your guy.
Those
Absolutely.
of you out there that are listening to us, go look up Taylor Heineke. It is an absolutely great story. And I don't have time to tell it here, but what I will say about this past weekend is I think we know that Washington went into Carolina to play the Panthers, and Ron Rivera is the ex-coach of the Carolina Panthers. And the big deal was about Cam Newton coming back, and he's coming back and he's starting his first game in Carolina. Well, Taylor Heineke was Cam Newton's backup when he was in Carolina. And so at the end of that game, I posted on Facebook, I said, hey, Taylor Heineke saying, hey, wait a minute. You guys were talking about the wrong quarterback coming back to Carolina and playing quarterback, because Taylor Heineke is now a better quarterback than Cam Newton. But great story. If you guys get a chance, go look up Taylor Heineke and just take a look at his path to where he is, because it's just a great story.
He can definitely sling the rock. He's a great quarterback.
Well,
you can tell he's a good athlete too.
He
Absolutely.
was the one that played in the playoff game last year, right? After
Yes. Yes.
So,
He was the one that started the playoff game against Tampa Bay and almost beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the story of how he got where he is, leaving high school, not being recruited by, big by the Big Five,
Power Five,
conferences, went to Old Dominion, won the Walter Payton Award, which is the equivalent of the Heisman, and then didn't get drafted, came in as a free agent, was out of football. It's a great story. If you get a chance, just look it up and check it out. Great story.
I'm looking it up tonight.
Yeah, Brian Westbrook won that Walton Payton Award. So, you have to be an outstanding.
Steve McNair, another one.
Steve McNair did as well. Yeah, outstanding player on that Division I AA level. Yep.
All right, perfect. All right, so we have a lot to look forward to this weekend, a lot to be grateful for. We're going into December. I can't even believe it. The next time we meet, it's going to be December. So we'll have a lot to talk about. It'll seem like a lifetime. So thank you, Brandon, for tuning in. It's the first time you're on the Bo and Joe Show. We loved having you. So we sent a couple of last time.
Go buy the book. It's a good read so far.
Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it, Big B. Appreciate it.
No problem. We've actually been, I don't know if Joe's told you about that. Some of our shows have actually been promoting the book on their show, so.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
And I'll throw this in. It makes a great stocking stuffer. Anybody doing some holiday shopping, race against race. Pick it up, put it in. You can bend it, can't you? Can't we bend it and just slide it down into a Christmas stocking?
If you get the paperback book, I mean, it does fold a little bit.
If you get the paperback, that is true. That is true.
So that's
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. I see you switched hat again.
I did. Yes, I did. There's turkey nodding yes. All right, so of course we can't close out a show without thanking our man behind the scenes. He's one of Thanksgiving's biggest delicacies, crispy bacon.
Crispy bacon.
Well, thank you, Chris, and thanks everybody for tuning in. We had Tim, we had Adam, we had Amy, we had Joe Sanders, Sanders. So we had the whole group, and I am going to tell everybody and I know Adrian, Santa, love it, Joe, thank you. And, Adrian made a great point. We are transitioning. We have 11 of the 7 episodes on our YouTube channel. But Adrian made a great point. Not everybody has Facebook. And so that's another opportunity. We'll be sharing that. I'm waiting to get the rest of the 6 episodes up, and then I'm going to share it globally. But if you want to check it out, it's the Bo and Joe Show on YouTube. You're welcome to do it. We also have Coast to Coast channel has a YouTube channel as well. And of course, all of our shows are on the Coast to Coast Facebook page live streaming. We have a new website, coasttocoastnetwork.com, and all of our shows are on that, and we're we're not quite ready to launch it. It's published, but we want to put the live stream right on our homepage, and we're working on that. Haven't quite been able to figure that out. I'm gonna have to bring some tech gurus in, but things we're moving along. And we've already discussed this, right? I don't know if I can spill the beans, Bodine, but talking about going on the road in 2020 and doing some live appearances for the Bo and Joe show. Maybe we'll find ourselves down in Atlanta.
2022. That's right. 2022 next year. Go doing some road
which
shows.
Is right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
We got lots of exciting things planned for the new year. No doubt about it.
All right, so come along for the ride, everybody. We appreciate everybody, and that's it. So in just 40 minutes, it's Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving Eve, and
Thanksgiving.
Randy saying he wants to meet Bo, not me. All right. So, all right, thanks, guys. You can play us out, Chris. Good night, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. V's up.
Happy Thanksgiving. V's up.
V's up.